Are you placed beyond the reach of sorrow? Have you found a state of true, unshakable tranquility? This is a heavy question to answer when confronted with the physical reality of human existence. The Yoga Vāsiṣṭha describes the faces of loved ones, once decorated with paints and pastes, being singed and destroyed on funeral pyres. It describes blood being sucked in by the dust of the earth, and whitened bones left strewn about the ground like shining stars. This same visceral horror paralyzes the warrior Arjuna at the start of the Bhagavad Gita. He stands on a battlefield, weapon in hand, overwhelmed by the impending slaughter of his own family and teachers. These ancient texts recognize a brutal baseline of life. We are submerged in a boundless ocean of grief and physical attachment, looking for a way out. Ancient Indian philosophy offers a specific response to this universal despair. If we look exclusively at the 29th passages across these foundational texts, a consistent pattern emerges. Whether it is chapter 29, section 29, or verse 29, these specific sections contain the core of a shared philosophical breakthrough. The Bhagavad Gita demonstrates this in its second chapter. This is the 29th verse, and it describes a specific entity, the indestructible self. By isolating these 29th passages, we can reconstruct a unified method for attaining liberation from suffering. That 29th verse introduces the Atman, the self, which exists at the center of this worldview. The text describes the Atman as entirely uncleavable. It cannot be wetted or dried, and it cannot be burnt by the funeral pyres that consume the physical body. It is an indestructible reality. Yet, as the commentary here notes, even if one has beheld, heard, and proclaimed it, no one has understood it. The self remains a marvel. If our true self is eternal and untouched by physical harm, we must ask why the physical world feels so overwhelmingly real and why we suffer so deeply within it. The sages suggest our grief comes from identifying with the illusion of physical decay rather than the reality of the self. To understand the scale of this illusion, the Mokṣopāya moves from the human body to the scale of the cosmos. It tells the story of two women who traverse the upper regions of the universe, passing through the realms of the sun, moon, and stars. This journey through the galaxies takes place entirely within the Queen's inner apartment. The text reveals that the universe, the distance, and the barriers are all contained within pure space. The 29th section of the Mokṣopāya describes this journey leading to a silent space, dense as the inside of a rock. This realm exists beyond the light of the sun or stars, accessible only by looking inward. This reveals that reality is generated entirely from within the silent void of consciousness. The physical universe is an internal event. Understanding that reality is generated by the mind changes how we participate in daily life. In the Yoga Vāsiṣṭha, King Padma warns that one attains merit by following the course of guides and elders, rather than persisting in the error of self-mortification. The Bhagavad Gita also focuses on this in chapter 4, verse 29. It describes the practice of yoga as offering the vital force of the breath into a fire of self-control. This internal focus was once central to the original Mokṣopāya text. Centuries later, the work was renamed and reorganized into the Yoga Vāsiṣṭha, subtly shifting the emphasis to align with later ritual traditions. True detachment means acting in the world without being bound by the ego's desires. It is the practice of maintaining one's duties while recognizing their temporary nature. The final insight appears in the 29th verse of the Tripura Rahasya. The goddess of ultimate knowledge explains the essence drawn from all sacred literature. This knowledge is exemplified by the 8 ministers of Rāma, described in the 29th section of the Yoga Vāsiṣṭha. These men ruled their kingdoms and fulfilled their offerings while remaining entirely free from the fever of anxiety. They treated the physical world as a lucid dream. They carried out their responsibilities while remaining satisfied by the magnanimity of their own souls. Peace comes through recognizing the illusion of the physical world and waking up to the indestructible marvel of the self. This is the lesson of the 29th verse.